We know we have other required parameters, but we don't want to write a test for each one. We know we are only testing against the title attribute. This is where Codeception Data providers come into play, and we can do this via annotations. So write data provider as your annotation, and type in required parameters. This is going to map to a function we'll write in a minute. Secondly, we need to pass a second parameter here. Reference Codeception or type hinted to Codeception example, and you can name your variable whatever you like. So let's keep it at required parameter. Okay, so you see we have post title here, that's how we reference it. And we're going to change that to use the required parameter. Now the required parameter needs to be an array. And we're going to just reference the item by saying parameter name. Simple. Now let's create our function. So it needs to be a protected function. And remember to map to your annotation of data provider. So required parameter. Cool. And what we're going to do here, actually, you know what? Let's make it required parameters. I think that makes more sense. We have to return an array. Okay, and it's going to be an array of arrays. So let's just map it to parameter name. And once again, we can reference our class constant. I told you they're going to come in handy. They're so useful. Now, if we run this test, it should pass because all we've done is refactor to use the data provider. So we're all good. You can see that it doesn't have the title in there, just like before. So now what we're going to do is I actually have this copied elsewhere, but we need to add the rest of the required parameters down here. So I'm just going to paste them in. Cool, get rid of that one. And I'm just going to copy and paste the key. Okay, so that's good. So if we run the test now, we should get failures. Because what it's going to do is going to loop through each one of these items in the array, and it's going to reference it as the missing attribute. So yes, our first one passes, we know that. And the rest start to fail. So you can see even though we have one test, Codeception sees multiple now because of the data provider. And you can see it says missing parameter, with a missing required parameter with the attribute next to it. Okay, so let's make this test pass. You could probably guess what the steps are. We need to go to our post controller. We then need to add to this array. I'm just going to put that into the next line to make it more readable. And we're going to duplicate that 5 times. And I'm just going to copy and paste this quickly from here. So primary image, thumbnail image, slug, and lastly, author. Okay, so they're now all required in the validator. We just need to run our test again. And we're getting green, 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 all good. So 6 tests there, 6 assertions, that's good stuff. So just to be safe, let's run our API test suite. Remember, get in the habit of doing that. That's the whole point of having your test suite, to see if your changes break anything else. And we're still getting green. It looks like we're getting green across the board. We are. And that's good news. Now, what's bugging me is that we used factory here, which is brilliant. Let's copy this and change this test here to use it as well. We can get rid of all this stuff because we don't have to do that, because that was the whole point of having our factory in the first place. So let's do post array is equal to post to array because we want it as an array. Okay, copy that, paste it in here. So post array, and remember we want that first item in the array. So not only do we want it there, we also want it in the C record. You know what I'm thinking about this? Maybe for consistency, we're probably better off doing post and then post and referencing the first item in the array here. Our other test is just like that, so I believe this should be the same. Okay, so let's run this test. I hope you guys are really finding the IDE useful for running tests. I really do. Okay, we get a green there, so that's good stuff. Good work.